Hello, and welcome to this Vicon training video. This video will focus on enhancements to the PX features in the Niagara AX 3.6 build. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm running a station locally on my PC named Building 1 Jace. The first feature that I'd like to talk about is related to bound labels and using multi-line text. To demonstrate this, I'll duplicate one of these bound labels, move it down into the PX canvas a little bit lower, and then go to the properties sheet of the widget. Now, the text is being animated by the bound label, and it's displaying the out value of that space temperature. And I'm going to type in some static text here, and then use a special syntax, which is a backslash and a lowercase n character, which is a syntax for a new line character. And then when I hit OK, you should see that in the bound label, the text, the static text, and then the value are being displayed on two different lines. And previously, there was an issue with the bound label that didn't process that backslash lowercase n character formatting for the new line character. That's been corrected with the 3.6 build. So if you are trying to do things like this with labels and bound labels in the PX editor, it'll simplify things. There was a workaround previously that entailed going into the XML version and doing some editing there. So you can do this from the PX editor view now. Another change that was made in 3.6 has to do with tabs on the tab pane. And the label pane has a property here, visibility. And previous to 3.6, that visibility property didn't really have any effect on what was rendered in the PX view itself. And I've animated that this one particular tab using this Boolean point, animated the visibility. So now when I set this Boolean to false, you'll see that the tab actually does disappear, and that visibility is able to be controlled using that option in the PX widget. Now, another enhancement is related to status bindings, and I'll just unanimate this one to demonstrate the feature. So I want to animate this background color based on the status of this toggle point. So when we go to animate the background color and we choose an iStatus to simple converter, that's going to list all the different statuses, and we can quickly assign either the background or foreground colors to those statuses. The thing to note here is that there is now also a null status and an unact alarm status, which previously weren't included in this converter. And so this would allow you to configure properties based on those two statuses being in effect. Perhaps maybe not showing something because it has a null status, or doing something a little different with it because it's an unact alarm versus an alarm state, that type of thing. So just realize that those statuses have been updated to also include the null and unact alarm statuses. And the last thing that I wanted to mention related to the PX editor is the keyboard shortcuts when you were working in the widget tree did not used to function properly. And what I mean by the keyboard shortcuts is if I were to highlight things in this widget tree like this label pane, and I wanted to use something like Control D to duplicate, then previously that would throw an error and didn't actually duplicate the components. You could select components in the canvas pane, and the shortcut keys like Control C, Control V, and things like that would work, or Control X I can use in this example to cut that pane out, or I could use Control C and then arrow up to the tab pane and Control V, and it would add that pane. So previously all those shortcut key combinations weren't working properly in the widget tree, and they do function properly now. So if you're someone who likes keyboard shortcuts, then it's certainly a big help in the PX editor for those to function. That concludes the session talking about PX enhancements for the 3.6 build. Please stay tuned to other videos which will cover enhancements for other sections of the framework. Thank you.